Welcome back to another episode of JV Starters. I'm your host, Andy Vigu, and my co-host,
I'm Will Barrett.
Will Barrett. How's it
know.
going, Will?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing real well. My Tennessee Volunteers represented this Saturday. Came out big
What is
against
that?
Alabama. That's Smokey.
Oh,
That's
an
the
awesome
mascot.
hat. What is
That's
that?
Smokey.
I have never seen that.
Yep.
Wow.
Smokey the dog. You watch
Where'd you
on the
get that?
sidelines. Like, Georgia has Uga, their bulldog on the
Uh-huh.
sidelines. Tennessee's got a dog that looks just like this on the sidelines.
Where'd you get that?
I found this on eBay a couple of years ago.
Nice.
I don't know where it came from before that, but that's a real
I think you should leave that on for the duration of the podcast. I think that should stay on.
Oh, all right. Maybe you're right. Well, what do you have? What are you excited about?
NBA basketball started again tonight. Opening tip-off for the season as Mr. Viggy walks away. Oh, he's back.
I had to turn on the ceiling fan. I realized this hat's hot.
Oh, yeah. Opening tip-off for NBA basketball was tonight. I just got back from watching the Celtics-Knicks game. The Celtics blew out the Knicks at about 7 or 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Celtics tied the NBA record for three-pointers made in a game. So they had I think 7 minutes, 7.5, maybe 8 minutes to break the record, and they went 0 for 15 from three. So
are you predicting a bad beat? Is this the bad beat for SVP on Monday?
I would be mine. So as of today, we now have a shared NBA record for three-pointers in a game, but they couldn't make another one in 8 minutes.
The world champs are 0 for 15 in the last 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, it was their bench, so maybe there was some nerves involved, but it was funny to watch. My good friend's a Celtics fan, so he was losing his mind for 8 straight minutes. It was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, super excited about the NBA starting again. That will consume my social media feeds, I'm sure, and I'll be bringing it up more here.
I went to the University of Arizona preseason basketball game last night, first one of the season, and the team looks strong. Preseason number 10, but they're also ranked 5th in the Big 12, which is crazy. We got 5 teams from the Big 12 in the top 10, which is bananas. And we play 3 of them during the season. So we're going to have number 1 Kansas, number 3 or number 5 Iowa State. We play Houston, who's ranked somewhere in there too.
Iowa State's 5?
Yeah, Iowa State.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I was shocked. I didn't realize they were up there either. But we played a Division II school called Eastern New Mexico State University Long Haul Truckers Association Seminary, something. They're the Greyhounds, and I was joking with my buddy I was sitting with. I said, I what I wouldn't give to be a fly on the wall in the pregame with for this coach. What does he do? He's in there going, guys, all right,
go get him, fellas.
We score 30. I'm buying McDonald's. That's what we're gonna do. We're getting ice cream cones. So what's funny
Guys,
is
if this game is within 50, no practice Monday.
Nobody runs. So
yeah.
Because with 7 minutes and 14 seconds left, they're shooting free throws. And I told my buddy, I said, all right, it's pointless to try and guess how many points U of A is going to score at this point because they're going to put all the bench guys in and whatever. I said, right now, the Greyhounds here have 42. What do you wager that they're going to finish the game with? He guessed 53. I said 60, and we said whoever's closer wins. Right? Doesn't have to be over under. Whoever's closer. And so looking pretty good. I mean, okay, we can score a little chip. And then next thing you know, like they went cold. And I mean, it's funny because I think people were very confused when I'm like booing the refs for calling plays against you, for U of A, because I'm like,
oh no,
they need the ball, they got to score. Like I was rooting. No, U of A score fast so that they can go back and get more shots in. They ended with 54. He was off by 1.
Oh, Close
Brutal.
call. Yeah, you
I
can't
I
be doing things like that at McHale.
I
People will
needed
give you
them to
funny
hit
looks.
57. That place is empty. If they hit 57, I'd win. And they ended with 54. I needed a
They're like the
three-pointer.
Celtics, man. All you
Yeah,
needed was 1 3.
I know. I know.
No dice.
All right. So let's get down to it. We are at almost the halfway point in the NFL season. And I thought it'd be fun to just do the state of the league address here. Just a couple of bullet points. So some of the fun stuff you've
I
seen
like
so
it.
far, stuff that you're surprised at, stuff that I don't know. You know what's going on. Like I'll start and just say my favorite thing so far was watching Saquon Barkley go back to New York. Go Birds!
What a showing.
Statement
What a
game.
showing. Revenge game.
You understand they ran the ball 45 times that game?
The Eagles did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
They asked AJ Brown after the game,
45?
they're like, he barely threw the ball to you, and he says, "Hey, sometimes that happens. You know, you got to win."
I'm sure Saquon let them all know pregame what was about to happen. I mean, I'm sure.
He grew up as an Eagles fan, and he went to Penn State, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So real. This was his Pretty
Yeah.
Woman moment, isn't it? I think this is Pretty Woman moment. Big mistake. What do you got?
Well, I guess so. Staying on this week, I found it hilarious that Davante Adams lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers twice in a 7-day span. Davante Adams lost to the Steelers twice in 1 week, and that's not like a weird gimmick with like when Dak Prescott became the first person to like throw a pick on 2 different days in the same week.
Right.
It's not like a weird time gimmick. He lost to the Steelers and then played the Steelers a week later and lost to the Steelers again. And I just think that's really funny.
That is funny.
Personally.
It's funny, but it was a trade thing, whatever. There was a weird anomaly. This is unrelated to football, but I heard a baseball one. There was a game that got postponed due to like rain or lightning or something. I think it was this year. And earlier in the season, and then they played the rest of the game later this year. And the guy who was, I guess he's a catcher. He was catching for the one team.
I saw this.
And then he finished the game catching for the
other team.
Like,
I did see that. That's funny.
That's the only thing kind of weirder than what you just said. Like, that's awesome. Well, congratulations, Steelers. The Steelers have Davante Adams' number.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
So how about also you got to hand it out to the NFC North, the best division in football.
Easily the best division.
I mean,
so far.
Nobody's even 500. No one's under. Everyone's winning. I mean, we got young quarterbacks. We got old quarterbacks. That's going to be a tough place to win. Somebody in that division is not going to the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, right now the Lions don't look beatable to me. Like I watched that game. I don't know who beats the Lions. I mean, obviously, they have sorcery, witchcraft, and wizards over there in Kansas City to do something, maybe. But I mean, besides like the Ravens, who are the other hot team, the Lions are so complete.
So real quick, Lions make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, this is craziness because if they're the Lions, they're probably going to lose the rest of their games now, right? I mean, that would be a Lions thing to do, right?
It would.
It would. So let's just have fun. Let's say they make it to the Super Bowl. They're going up against the Chiefs. Is there anybody outside of Kansas City rooting?
No.
Right?
Not a soul. Not one person.
Wouldn't that feel like when the Phillies went up against the Astros 3 years ago in the World Series, and it was Houston?
Yeah.
And the rest of the country was going, I don't even like the Phillies, but I hate them.
I mean, look, I think if the Lions made it at all, I think most of the country would root for the Lions purely because it's the Detroit Lions, and that's just so much fun.
I mean, they might bring Barry Sanders out of retirement just so he gets a ring. We signed him to a 10-day contract.
Yeah. If it was the Chiefs, I mean, that would just make it.
Make him a special advisor to the team, Megatron too. They're like, you guys need a ring.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's what we're going to do.
I mean, have Matthew Stafford come watch the game. I know he already has his, but
Old stats
like, shoot,
Padford.
man. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. No, it would be people in Kansas City and like legacy Chiefs fans across the rest of the country, and that's it. I mean, I know I'd root for the Lions. Who wouldn't though? It's the Lions.
All right. So anything what hasn't surprised you about the NFL season so far?
What hasn't surprised me?
Yeah.
The Ravens. The Ravens have not surprised me. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. I was a little worried after that start. I'll be honest. I was a little scared with that 0-2. But five straight. Is it 5 or 6? It's five
Five.
straight.
Five.
I mean, Lamar threw 5 touchdowns last night, but hey, he's a running back, right?
Yeah.
And they weren't screen passes. There was one screen pass touchdown. I mean, he had there was a 49-yard touchdown. The ball traveled 70 yards in the air or something. It was a dime. It was a perfect throw.
Not for nothing, but you know what has happened? There's one thing that changed on that team, and then they started winning. Now they may be, I think they're related. It may not be 100% causal, but you know what changed? I
in
know
between
this.
week 2 and 3.
Yeah. They started
what?
handing off to Derrick Henry.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's a monster.
Yeah, I drafted him in the first round for fantasy, and week
What?
1, I'm going, they didn't hand it. They're not giving him the ball? They're not giving him the ball? Like, you got to be kidding me. I'm sorry. He was round 2. He was round 2 in fantasy. Jefferson was my number 1, my first round pick. But even still, I took him second round. I'm like, this is gonna be great. Oh, they love running there. And games 1 and 2, I'm like, what do you do? And so, at any rate, ever since they've handed off the ball to him, go to him 20, 25 times a game, 5-0.
He hasn't fallen off at all. People thought he was going to be worse this year.
That dude, if a mountain could run, it would look like him.
He had an 81-yard run last night, and his top speed was like 22 miles per hour. Like, what?
So things that don't surprise me.
Yeah.
And this will surprise. I know this is a surprise to you based on what you said. Week 1 was Bills. Bills are still winning. Now you can argue they're in a weak division, whatever.
That does
They're 5
surprise
and
me.
2. Like, they're 5-2. They've put up one of the highest point totals in the league this year. There's only like 2 teams that have outscored them this year. So Bills are still Bills, man. I mean,
Yeah.
so what if they're? I remember you making fun of them that their best receiver is Keon Coleman, but that seems like it's working.
Yeah, I was. Look, kudos to Josh Allen, man.
He's the man, dude.
That guy is a monster. Yeah, I was absolutely wrong about that. Now, Keon Coleman, in my defense, Keon Coleman's not that good. He's been thrown to other people.
But I think exactly. Yeah, right. To your point, it's not because of Keon Coleman.
Been good. Yeah, yeah.
But
and now they have Amari Cooper too.
So unsurprising, Panthers. Unsurprising, Jags. Surprising?
Yep.
The Commanders? I mean, come on, man. A rookie? That's this kid. So at the beginning of the season, I'm going to go right into kind of a revisitation of one of my hot takes at the beginning of the year. I talked about the rookie quarterbacks, and I said that Jaden Daniels is RG3. Not just because he's playing for the Washington team, but I said he's RG3. Supremely talented, going to get injured. Now, this is probably a temporary setback with the injury, but do you remember that his rookie year, RG3, they won the division? So it may not be a bad comparison to pick RG3. Now, unfortunately, it plagued his career, and he was never the same after those playoff injuries.
Right.
But right now, they're still ahead of my Eagles. So, I mean, got to tip the cap there. That kid looks like
my mom's a huge Washington fan, so she's very happy. She didn't even know who Jaden Daniels was because she doesn't watch football too much anymore. But I told her how good they were, and she was very excited. But yeah, that kid's a monster, man. He's something else, huh?
He's looking really good. Looking really good. All right. Anything else about
he wasn't my pick.
What's that?
I was just gonna say he wasn't my pick for the best rookie quarterback. So
he was not my pick for the best rookie quarterback. Again. Nope. My pick. Now I said long term when I talked about the best rookie quarterback. I said it'd be Bo Nix. Now,
Hmm.
you can laugh and say, "Oh, hey, he hasn't looked that great this year," but they are 4-3.
Been
They do have
okay.
a winning record. So
Yeah, he's been fine. I'd say he's at expectations right now.
he has kind of pedestrian numbers, but it feels like he's a kid who can win. So I don't know. I'm going to say that so far that pick is still okay. I'm
Yeah,
looking worse
yeah,
and worse with my hot take on on Caleb Williams as the season goes on.
yeah. Trade him for Dak Prescott, right?
Hey, you know what? I'll stand
Yeah.
by that. I'll stand by that. But
No,
what I said
no.
was that he'd be terrible.
Yeah, you did say that.
I did. But I still think that
It
both
happens.
both of those teams would have benefited from the trade. I still think that would be a beneficial trade. Huge money difference, but it seems like it's working out okay in Chicago so far.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah, and the Cowboys are 500. Hopefully they get worse. So. All right. Well, and the last thing I think I want to bring up right now then is World Series, man. We got two
Oh yeah.
legendary squads going to go duke it out, battle the heavyweights, and the biggest name. I mean, normally we'd be like, oh, Aaron Judge and Soto and all these guys. No, man, it's the guy in his first ever playoffs who may go down as the greatest baseball player of all time. Shohei Ohtani is putting on a show. That
Yeah.
that dude's a
It's
stud.
it's interesting. It's a little bit of an interesting World Series for me because there's only two MLB teams that I will root against no matter who they're playing and what the circumstance is. And those two MLB teams are the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. So here I find myself in a bit of a pinch because now I'm thinking to myself, well, hey, I don't want either of these two teams to get another ring, but one of them is going to.
One of
So
them,
how
yep.
do I decide who I want to win? I got to start looking at the rosters, right?
Yeah.
I got to look and say which players would I like to see win a ring? What players do I like? And I find that there's one player on each side who I've always kind of liked, and that's Shohei and Juan Soto. So now I have to pick who in my mind do I like more? Do I like Shohei Ohtani or Juan Soto? And after a lot of deliberation, I think I would prefer to see Shohei win his ring because Juan Soto already has one. So I think I would like to see Shohei win his ring, which means I will be marginally happier if the Dodgers win. I think.
Soto got one with the Nats, didn't he?
It was.
Yeah,
I think it was his rookie year.
I
It may have
think
been his
so.
second, but
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah. Nope. Well, I mean, I can go with that. It's hard to hate on Shohei, man. He's class. He's
Yeah,
excellent. Just seems like a nice guy too, man. I
yeah,
actually
he really does.
I saw an interesting little video where it was just talking about how. Now, I don't agree with the premise that the $700 million contract is going to be a steal at some point. I don't agree with that. But their point was just that they say in the first year, the money he's brought into the organization through jersey sales, in stadium advertising, just all this stuff that came a lot of it from Japan,
Hmm.
that they've already supposedly brought in, $250 million or something additional. Says their season
Yeah.
their annual attendance has gone up 100,000.
Wow.
So I'll hesitate on the it'll be a steal, but maybe you can say it was worth it in the end. But
Sure. Sure.
I don't know. Those numbers that big, I feel like you probably could have gotten a sign for 550.
Maybe.
But all right. So my hot take here is basically is revisiting one other thing that I said, and that is Aaron Rodgers is washed up. His numbers actually, if you look at his numbers, they're not terrible, or way, way off what they have been over his career. They're not great, but they are low. Like his his throw passer rating is 82.2, and that's low for him. I mean, he was normally 90s to mostly over 100. His QBR is 48.9, which, believe it or not, is higher than his last year with the Packers. That was 41.
Wow.
So his numbers that year weren't terrible either. 36.95, 26 TDs, 12 picks. But what I said was, I believe the way I said it was that he's washed up. He's still going to look okay, but he's not going to have an impact on the team, and they're winning. And so far, I think I've been proven right.
Yeah, I agree. I think Aaron Rodgers' time, when he went to that like cave in the Himalayas and he was like smoking the nightmare kush or whatever he was doing there.
Ayahuasca.
I think it gave him like a weird thing with his eyes because he has this weird. I've noticed this season he gets this joy from throwing to the ball to the other jersey color. And I can't quite figure out why that is. And I think it might be related to his substance intake.
Do you think
because I've never seen
ayahuasca
another
causes
quarterback
color blindness?
either that or just stupidity. Because there's got to be an explanation for why and I'm not saying that in like he just throws picks because I don't think he has like the most picks in the league or anything. But all of his picks are just to the other player. Like if you watch the interceptions,
very bad picks.
He's just throwing the ball to the dude in the other color.
Well,
so I watch it and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Well, if you want to look at picks throughout his career, he has 7 picks right now, 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. The 10 touchdowns isn't too bad this part of the season. It's certainly not on par with his best seasons. Because if we double this, we're up to, maybe he gets up to 22, and that's certainly low for him. But pick wise, once he became the starter, his first year he had 13. 2 years later he had 11, and then he had 12 his last year in Green Bay. Other than that, they're all single digits. Some as low as 2.
Yeah,
mostly single digits, and he's already at 7.
Yeah.
So I didn't look up where he ranks in the league. Oh, actually, here he is tied for 64th. It says with 7 interceptions. I don't even know what that means. How are you tied 64th? I don't know what that means. There's not 64 quarterbacks. That's what it says.
I'm pretty sure there's not 63 quarterbacks with more interceptions.
But it says his QBR of 48.9 is 24th in the league.
Yikes.
Yeah. So that's not great. So
anyway, yeah, I think you're right, though. I think you're right about Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
I'm all in.
When the Jets signed him, I was like, oh man, this is a literal Hail Mary. Oh, we're gonna bring this guy in. I love Rich Eisen, but he gets so excited about his Jets, and he's like, oh, we got Aaron Rodgers. And I'm thinking, you don't have Aaron Rodgers. You got a guy named Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's
yes. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yep. And they gave him a whole bunch of money. All right. So what do you got? You got games? What do you got?
All right. So as ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure you remember, because Mr. Vigu likes to mention it at the beginning of every episode, big Eagles fan, this guy. So I've decided to put that to the test.
Oh, crap.
So I have listed in front of me 6 players, and this is going to be very easy. There's not a whole lot of explanation. You don't need to clarify a whole lot. All you got to do is tell me if they played for the Eagles or not.
Right now?
That's all you got to do.
They're on the roster?
That's all you got to do. Yep, that's all you got to do. I've got 6 players. Nobody who played before the year of 2010. So these are all. You don't have to worry about like logging into the memory banks or anything. These are all.
So it's not current, not names on the roster right now. It's did they play for the Eagles?
Exactly. Mostly 2010s. These are like all the 2010s decade.
Crap.
Were they ever rostered by the Eagles? Is the question. Sound good?
Yeah. I'm
all right.
embarrassed.
Let's see what he's got. All right. First, was wide receiver Anquan Boldin ever rostered by the Philadelphia Eagles?
No.
All right. And I'm going to do them, and then after I'm going to tell you if you got them right.
Okay.
So no for Boldin. Was wide receiver Torrey Smith ever rostered by the Eagles?
Yes.
Was quarterback Brandon Weeden ever rostered by the Eagles?
Brandon Weeden. Shoot. I don't think so.
Is that a no?
I'll say no.
All right. Was running back LeGarrette Blount ever rostered by the Eagles?
Yeah. Yeah, he got a ring from him too. He is
Was quarterback.
one of two players on the Eagles team that got their second Super Bowl ring, and they were back-to-back Super Bowl champions because they both came from the Patriots to the Eagles and won for the Patriots and then beat the Patriots to take home their second one. The other one, do you know who the other one was?
Who?
Chris Long.
Well, I think he knows the answer to the LeGarrette Blunt one, so we'll just move on here. Uh,
Yes.
was quarterback Tim Tebow ever rostered by the Eagles?
Shoot. I'm trying to think. Now, are you talking like even though that preseason practice squad type thing?
Just rostered at some point,
Shoot.
which I'm pretty sure includes that.
I think he might have been on
I
a
actually don't think
practice
so.
squad. I have in the back of my mind he might have ended up on a practice squad or something like that. Have been cut.
You know what rostered means? I just remembered because I read it when I was doing this. It means did they ever sign a contract like on the 52-man roster is what that means.
Let's see. He was drafted by the Broncos. He played for the Jets. I thought I think Chip Kelly brought him in and gave him a look and got rid of him. So I'll say yes. Ready to be embarrassed when it's no.
All right. And then your last one was quarterback Mark Sanchez ever rostered by the Eagles?
Yes. Yes, he
All right.
was.
So out of 6, so how many do you think you got right?
5.
Like realistically, you think 5? Which was
5.
the one you think you got wrong? What do you think you got wrong?
I'm not confident on Tebow.
All right. Well, you actually went 6 for 6. That's a perfect score. I guess it turns out he is an Eagles fan. I get this was not a bluff.
Let's go. I do pay
Very
attention.
nice. I'm impressed. Wow. Well done.
Thank you.
I figured Tebow and Whedon would be my 2 that get you. Whedon's played for everybody.
Has he? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he was on the Browns at one point, and that's the only place I think I remember his name showing up. Because I think he was part of that list of where the Browns have all those different quarterbacks over the years.
Yes, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember him being in there. I don't think he was in there twice. I think that was what's his name? Josh McCown. I think he was on the Browns twice, and he was also an Eagle.
Brandon Whedon teams. As that loads, maybe we'll get a number eventually. But yeah, wow. Okay, so you've passed the Eagles fan test.
All right,
it's impressive.
Thank
well done.
You. Good. Then
you played for the Browns, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Titans, and the Texans again.
Texans twice. All right. So we're gonna do another version of what is this?
Yeah.
All right.
I love this one.
I'm gonna send you a picture to your cell phone. And you're going to tell me you have 1 minute from the time you tell me, okay, you say you got the phone, you got the picture.
I'll show you when it comes through.
Yeah. And then I'll start the clock and you have 1 minute to identify what it is. So where is,
okay, there you can see it there.
I was trying to get my timer ready. Timer is ready for 1 minute. Okay. You ready? I'm going to send the first one over.
Yes. All
okay.
Right. We can see it here. I have the text stream open.
Okay.
We'll see it pop up.
And I'll superimpose the picture on the All
right, there we go.
Video. All right.
Oh, that's too easy.
Let's just see.
This has got to be a window crank, right? It's because that looks like a car door to me. And I think that's in the place on the car door where you do the little motion and the window would roll up. That final answer, lock it in. I don't even need a minute.
All right, you got it. That is exactly what it is. I want to make sure because I have a buddy of mine who he used to have not long ago. I mean, like he replaced his pickup truck in 2020. He had a Tacoma that had manual windows, not power windows, but manual windows. And he'd had a teenager get in there and he told him, "Hey, roll up the window." And the kid's like, "What?" He says, "Roll up the window." He's like, "I don't see the button. How do I?" He's like, you gotta do the. So, anyway, okay, that was an easy one. All right, let's try
one. This is good.
This one. All right, ready? Here's number 2.
All right, let's see when it comes through here. All right, we've got it.
All right.
Whoa, I've seen this before. I've 100% seen this before. So this is one of two things. This is used for one of two things. I think this might be like an address thing, like you keep addresses in here for like different people, like business or something, or like phone numbers. I think it's one of the two, if not maybe both. But either way, I think it's a way to sort of keep track of like that kind of information before you just had like the contacts. I'll lock that in as sort of a broad answer.
Okay. You are correct as to its function, and it's whatever you want it to be, really, right? But
Okay.
there's a name for this because there's a company that made it, and even if somebody else made one that looked like it, everyone still calls it a Rolodex.
Oh,
You can still
okay.
you can still get them today. So you're him. I mean, you may hear someone today say, "Let me check my Rolodex," and they literally don't mean that. Some might, but that's what they're talking about. Is they want to check their address book, and you'd keep that on your desk. There's two versions of it. One is one where they're kind of cards, and they're just kind of standing up, and you can kind of they tip forward or tip back, and then there's that one that literally it rolls 360. All right, good, good.
Nice.
I knew these
I'm
weren't
feeling
real
good.
hard, but I want to see if you knew, and you would have gotten bonus points if you knew the word Rolodex. All right,
Yeah,
last
definitely
one.
not. All right.
I'm interested to see what you think this is. Oops, I hit the wrong button here. Hit the share button.
Ever since your legendary, it's gonna go. Your performance in the Eagles game is gonna go down in history. So I feel kind of bad that I have to back that up. I have to go after that.
All right, see if you can
That's
go
like that's like
100%.
all right. Let's see. That's like being the program on TV after like the 1996 finals finished. All right. Okay. So here's what's funny about this. So I'm going to preface this with I don't know exactly what this is used for, but I will say that my grandmother had this exact piece of furniture in her house when I was very, very, very young. I'd say like 0 to 8 years old. And I always used to, there was like only like 4 of the drawers worked. And I always used to open them. And in one of them, 3 of them were empty. And one of them had like a little bracelet, like with some jewels on it, and like 2 index cards that I never read. And I got like really very specific flashbacks when like looking at this.
Now, incidentally, just
that being
so you
said,
know, that one right there is probably that's probably 5 feet tall.
God, this looks so familiar. It's wow. Is this like I'm gonna say this is like an in-office mailbox.
Okay,
That's gonna be my guess.
There's your time up, and it is not an in-office mailbox.
Ah,
That would be found. This would be found in a library. So
interesting.
It'd be odd if your grandmother actually had one of these, but
swear.
unless she was a librarian. So if it's this size, I mean, it does look kind of like a little desktop jewelry box or something. But this one here is probably 4.5 to 5 feet tall.
Big.
And so this is called a card catalog.
Oh.
So
okay.
when you'd go to the library, you'd slide one of these drawers out, and there's little cards just jammed in there. And on the front, there's little tags on there. It would say something like if you zoom in on this, you can see it says fiction A through M or fiction J through whatever. If you zoom in, I don't know how clear you can see it, but that is what some of the things it says. So basically, you open it up.
Oh yeah.
Sorted by fiction, nonfiction, etc. And so you pull it out, and on the spine of the book, if you go get a book right now, it'll have like 3 digits and a decimal point and 2 more digits. That's your Dewey Decimal System. So that's how you find a book. And when I started college in 1994, my school was still working with one of these. Like I go to my college in the fall of 94, had a big one of these. The first thing you see when you walk into that library, you open it, you get it. And then my second semester, my sophomore year, they started renovating it, and all of a sudden they closed the library, and when it reopened, we walk in and we're like, well, where's the card catalog? And they're like, oh no, sit at that computer, and you type in what you want. I'm like, what?
Wow.
How's that work? Like, oh,
It's fancy stuff.
it's LexisNexis. You're gonna find everything you need. And it was, I mean, this is mind blowing. You type it in, you're like, all right, I'm gonna look up the Red Badge of Courage, and like it pops up and it tells you where to find it in the library. And we're like, that was like we went from the card catalog to this in a few months when they renovated it. So,
That's a big old jump.
it was amazing. 1994, 95. So I am
Wow.
old enough that I used both. So, well, there you go. All right. So you 2 for 3.
That's not terrible. That's better than last time.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I was looking at some stuff and I'm like, I need things that visually, are going to be tough to see. So I thought, there are kids out there your age who have been in an old car and it has a window crank, right? So I'm like,
Right.
I'm rolling the dice on this one.
Right.
All right, well done. And what do you got? You have one more game for me?
Yeah, if you'd like, if you think time allows, I'd be happy to.
Why not? We're having fun.
All right. So this one's maybe a little bit more fun for me. This is a little bit of revenge for that Eagles game score. So as I mentioned, NBA tip-off was tonight.
Yeah.
So, and I know you've mentioned in the past, not the biggest NBA watcher, but the way you've talked about it, it's like I think you've watched enough to know the big names.
The big names.
So
I know which teams are good. I follow the big names. If you
That's
want to ask
perfect.
me who's this sixth man on the Pelicans or something, I'm going to
Mm-mm.
be terrible.
I've got so the first game was sort of a who he played for sort of structure. So this next one, I've got 3 players, and you got to tell me who he not play for.
Okay.
So I've got 3 players who are big names, but very famous basketball players who have played for multiple teams, and I'm going to give you 4, and you got to tell me of the 4 which one did they not play for.
So these are well-known players.
Yes.
Okay.
So for example, your first one is James Harden.
Oh, okay. I can tell you who he played for.
All right. So then I'm not going to give you 4. I'm going to give you his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's played for 5 teams. I'm going to list 6. You got to tell me which one he didn't play for.
Do you want me to just name
Right.
them?
Sure. Yeah.
I think I think I can do it in
Yeah.
order.
Go ahead.
First of
Go
all,
ahead.
he played at your school, ASU. Oh,
Yes, he
I
did.
went back in time on that one. Then he went.
We'll count it.
He
Bonus
played
points.
for the Thunder, the
Yep.
Rockets,
Yep.
the Brooklyn Nets, the
Yep.
Sixers,
Yep.
and the Clippers.
Wow. Well done. My trick in there was the Suns. I had the Suns listed there. I figured maybe that'd get you.
That's
Because Kevin
King
Durant
D.
also was on the Nets, but
He was also
so the next one.
He was also on the Thunder.
Yes, he was. The next one, you're not going to be able to name all the teams in order. The next one's Derrick Rose.
Ooh.
And that guy has played for a lot of teams, and I highly doubt.
That's a
you'll
guy
be able
I
to-
kept forgetting he was still playing. So this I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose this one.
So
Memphis
so
Tiger.
of the teams I've got here, you got to tell me which one he didn't play for. All right.
Okay.
So the Bulls, the Heat, the Grizzlies, the Knicks, or the Hornets.
Ooh. Okay, so I know he was drafted by the Bulls. Heat, Grizzlies, Knicks, and Hornets.
Yep.
Holy crap! There's like 3 in there I didn't think he played for. I think he.
Excuse me, I misspoke. Not Heat, Cavaliers. I was reading a different player.
Oh, okay. So
He did not play
Cavaliers,
for the Heat,
okay. I'm gonna say right now. I'm just gonna say he didn't play for the Grizzlies.
but final answer?
Final answer.
That is incorrect. The Grizzlies were actually the team he was on most recently before he finally retired. He never played for the Hornets.
Huh.
Was the correct answer there? Was the one you were looking for?
All right.
All right. Last one. We're looking at Paul Pierce here. The Truth, I think they call him.
Yeah.
You want to see if you can just list them? You think you know these?
I think he only played for 3 teams.
He played for 4 teams.
He played for 4. Well, he was with the Celtics, And
Yep.
then he was part of that deal where they sent everybody down to Brooklyn.
Yep.
Uh, then I'm fuzzy. I know he left there, and where did he go?
You want me to give you three options? And
Yeah,
you
why don't you
guess
give me
which one
three
he didn't?
options then?
All right. One of these three he did not play for. Your options are the Thunder, the Clippers, and the Wizards.
He played for the Wizards. He played for the Clippers. He did not play for the Thunder. Final answer.
Final answer?
Yeah.
That's correct.
All right.
Paul Pierce did not. He was never rostered by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well done.
All right. Not too bad.
Showing off your NBA prowess. I thought that was gonna be. I made it a little easy. I thought maybe you knew less than you'd let on. I think you were misleading me a little bit. But that's okay. That's okay. That's we learn
Well, it's
together.
because every time I turn on a game, I'm like, there's guys I'm surprised. I'm like, how'd he wait? He plays there? Or Derrick Rose, I'm like, he's still playing?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that guy was still on a team. Now there's ones that I know, ones I pay attention to, and I still hate the Knicks. I hate the Knicks.
I mean, that's fair.
I hate the Mets. I don't hate the Yankees. I did not like
Just
them in
orange and blue
2009 when
New
they
York
beat my
teams?
Phillies. It's the ones that play against the Phillies regularly, right? I mean, growing up, there
The
was
orange
no
and blue
interleague
teams.
play. There was no interleague play when I was a kid, so I didn't really care about the Yankees so much that weren't a threat. But the stupid Mets won a World Series when I was a kid, and they had Darryl Strawberry and Lenny Dykstra and Carter, Gary Carter, and then even Roger McDowell, and then a couple of them ended up as Phillies, Roger McDowell and Lenny Dykstra. And anywho, yep, I don't like those teams. I don't like the Giants either. Don't care about in fact, I used to cheer for the Jets, actually. I was like Eagles and Jets. I actually cheered for both of them. I was never like a real hardcore Jets fan, thank goodness. It's hard enough being an Eagles fan.
They shared the Eagles colors, so you figured might as well.
I think it was one of those ads in the East or nearby. They actually played in New Jersey. So I was like, well,
right.
As a teenager, I kind of was like, I'll cheer for those guys. And after a while, I'm like, why am I even bothering? These guys are terrible. I have no skin in this game. What am I? Why do I
realize
care?
your mistake instantly?
I'll just stay with the team that disappoints me that I cheer for. It's fine.
There you go. Yeah. You only need one.
Well, you know what's funny is I think I mentioned this when we talked about front offices that right out of high school, I mean, I actually was thinking about maybe I should start following the Patriots because when they were the worst team in the league, they got Drew Bledsoe, number 1 pick, and then they picked up Bill Parcells. I was like, this is going to be a good team. I said in 5 years they'll be in the Super Bowl, and I believe it only took 3. So I was like, this will be a good one. And they lost that Super Bowl to Brett Favre and the Packers. So, and then of course Tom Brady and Belichick, and the next 20 years, boy, it was pretty good for anybody who was a Boston fan. All their teams won at least one.
Boston fans have it so easy. They have it so easy.
Well, they didn't for a long time when if you were a Red Sox fan, but that's gone.
Yeah, they always had the Celtics, and one of their teams is always good.
Yep.
At least.
I did like that the Celtics went and put up another ring to they had to try and get ahead of the Lakers.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. I don't like the Celtics very much. Not a huge
it's funny.
Celtics guy.
I believe it or not, as a Sixers fan, I actually don't hate on the Celtics. I kind of respect them. I hate on the Knicks.
That's interesting.
I know. But it's like my dad is different. Like he's an old time Philly fan, and so the back in like the 70s and stuff, you had the Sixers and the Celtics. They I just never felt like it was really much of a battle. Back in the 80s, the Sixers, they did win a ring with Dr. J and with the guys early. I was pretty young. And then that was it. And then there was nothing until Iverson, and he took them to 1 finals in 01. So I don't know. Yeah. I just never felt like I hated the Knicks. Didn't care that much about the Celtics. I respected their game. So,
I guess that's fair.
all right. Well, anything we haven't covered? Anything we any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think that's all from me. You exceeded expectations this evening. Happy to say.
Let's go. Let's go, Big
Dominant
O.
performance.
Huh? Orange. That's
Yeah.
what I'm wearing, this old school. But all right. Well, we got some good stuff coming up this week, I'm sure, and hopefully we'll get the next episode out much quicker than we have been.
Oh, we're all over it. I'm locked in now. It's coming.
All right. Well, let's keep up. We'll have some more fun games next time. Andy Vigu, signing out.
Will Barrett. See you guys next time.
Take care.